Welcome to the channel, where today we unravel a mystery so astonishing it could change the way you look at pocket change forever. Could a single, unassuming 1990 1-cent coin be worth not just hundreds or thousands, but an earth-shattering $25 million? What if this seemingly ordinary penny held within it secrets so rare, so impossibly valuable, that collectors, historians, and government agencies alike have been left baffled for decades, unsure whether they're witnessing a fluke of minting or a deliberate ghost of U.S. currency policy lost to history? Imagine reaching into your pocket and discovering what looks like a typical copper-plated zinc cent, minted at the Denver Mint in 1990, a year not known for rare pennies, and yet, against every odd, this particular coin exists as a singular anomaly in American numismatics, a glitch in the mechanical heartbeat of the U.S. Mint that transformed it into a priceless artifact, sparking global bidding wars, covert acquisitions, and obsessive hunts by the world's most elite collectors who whisper its name like a legend passed between vaults and shadows. 1990 D, the 1-cent piece that shouldn't exist as it does, yet somehow, undeniably, does, and is now the epicenter of an ongoing treasure hunt that stretches from dusty coin shops in the Midwest to high-security storage facilities hidden beneath Swiss mountains where billionaires hoard historical artifacts worth more than art, gold, or oil. But to understand how this lone penny became a $25 million marvel, we must journey back to the very moment it was conceived, at a minting facility buzzing with machines, bureaucracy, and the critical responsibility of producing billions of U.S. coins with almost mechanical perfection, where a single failure in die design, striking pressure, or blank metal content could slip past human inspection in a fraction of a second, unnoticed by workers, unrecognized by routine checks, and yet destined to become the most mysterious error coin in modern history, a cent that wasn't supposed to carry a mint mark error, but did, a cent that shouldn't have had double die characteristics, but somehow does under microscopic analysis, a cent where the letter D appears ghosted, slightly off-center, as if hesitating to identify itself, and where liberty and the date carry traces of machine doubling and planchet deformation indicative of an abnormal strike sequence that defies standard minting behavior, igniting theories that range from accidental hub duplication to rogue engraver sabotage to the possibility that this coin was never meant to enter circulation at all, possibly an experimental strike or presentation piece whose escape into the public was a mistake, or perhaps not a mistake at all, perhaps an intentional leak by someone inside who understood the implications of such a rare creation, and thus begins the mythology of the 1990 D1 cent, the coin that has changed hands in backroom deals, seen auction houses throw out their own valuation models, caused forensic numismatists to question their tools, and been at the center of legal speculation about the ownership rights of a coin never intended to exist, a coin that defies even the mint's own production logs, which show no record of this die variety being approved for mass release, leading some to believe that this cent was part of a rogue batch of test strikes using a hybridized die that combined 1989 die elements with 1990 overlays, producing a freak fusion caught between eras, between legality and anomaly, between obscurity and legendary fame. And as whispers of its existence began surfacing on coin forums, collectors began digging through rolls, scanning pennies under microscopes, comparing strike anomalies, measuring weights, metallurgy, die angles, and rim cuts, and soon the legend grew. Stories emerged of one being sold for six figures quietly at a coin show, another said to have been found in the collection of a retired mint employee who never spoke of how he got it, and another story, barely believable, tells of a small-town pawn shop in Kansas that once unknowingly sold it for 1 cent, its true identity only uncovered when the buyer brought it to a coin show on a whim, causing a collective gasp among experts who realized this was no ordinary error, no simple misprint, but a potentially unique strike with both a design anomaly and a composition variance not seen in any other cent from that era, with X-ray fluorescence tests reportedly showing elevated levels of tin and trace metals inconsistent with 1990 planchets, as if this coin had been struck on a leftover alloy blank from a foreign contract, or even more bizarrely, on a transitional blank meant for a discontinued coinage composition, pointing to a possibility that the 1990 D cent is not just a mint error, but a hybrid of experimental metallurgy and accidental design override. And if this were true, if the evidence could be confirmed, its value wouldn't just stem from rarity, but from being a singular Specimen of U.S. coinage that bridged two incompatible minting phases, a Frankenstein of numismatics that should never have left the facility and yet somehow did, and from this premise was born a storm of speculation, investigation, and obsession, as collectors began offering millions in private, confidential transactions just for a chance to own the cent that numismatists began calling the ghost penny. And over time, this coin began to occupy a space beyond monetary value. It became a symbol of the uncatchable error, the proof that even the most regulated systems can falter in spectacular, history-altering ways, and as news of its existence spread, more people scoured their change, more collectors speculated, and the coin's mystique only grew, especially after a sealed auction held in Europe allegedly fetched $25 million for a certified example held in an anonymous trust, shocking even the most seasoned dealers and prompting a new wave of searches across flea markets, family heirlooms, and forgotten penny jars, with some even hiring private investigators to track down rumored owners, while conspiracy theories mounted about whether the U.S. Mint knew about this error and covered it up, or if this coin is part of a classified numismatic experiment gone wrong. And then there was the story of the anonymous collector who insured his 1990 D cent for precisely $25 million, refusing to store it in any known facility, instead opting to embed it in a secure microvault designed for diamonds and data drives, suggesting that he believes this coin is not just rare, but perhaps one of the single most important modern artifacts in American history. And as the years pass and the number of confirmed specimens remains in the single digits, some wonder if we've only seen the beginning of its story. Could there be more hidden away in forgotten boxes, sealed mint sets, or buried time capsules? Could one be lying dormant in your childhood piggy bank right now? Or has this legend already peaked, destined to become a folklore passed down through numismatic generations, retold in coin clubs and museums as the miracle penny, the glitch that defied all odds and redefined value itself? And while experts debate the metallurgy, the strike patterns, the die diagnostics, and the legal status of its existence, one truth remains: the 1990 D1 cent coin, through an extraordinary convergence of mechanical anomaly, bureaucratic oversight, and collector fervor, has become one of the most mystifying and captivating coins in the world, worth not just $25 million in cash, but perhaps far more in historical consequence, emotional fascination, and the tantalizing possibility that you could still find one in the least expected place. So keep looking, keep questioning, and if this story has lit a spark in your curiosity, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more jaw-dropping tales from the strange and secret world of rare coins. Next, 2001 cent USA coins today. Could a single penny in your pocket be worth $22 million? What if I told you that an ordinary-looking 2001 cent US coin, the kind that most people ignore, toss aside, or drop without a second thought, has become the focus of a numismatic frenzy unlike anything the coin-collecting world has ever seen, all because of one unthinkable, barely understood anomaly at the U.S. Mint that may have changed the fate of that year's coinage forever, an anomaly so mysterious, so utterly baffling, that even seasoned experts remain divided. Theorists are scrambling for answers, and collectors are offering fortunes just for a glimpse of this impossible piece of copper-coated zinc. But how did such an unassuming coin come to hold a jaw-dropping value of $22 million? The story begins not with a collector or a discovery, but with a secret, one buried deep within the vast, humming machinery of the Philadelphia Mint at the turn of the millennium, a time of computer glitches, Y2K panic, and shifting technologies, where somewhere in the controlled chaos of dies and planchets, something slipped through the cracks. Some say it was a wrong planchet used. Others whisper of a mysterious double-struck mule that never should have been paired, while even more shocking rumors point toward an experimental coin that was accidentally released into circulation, possibly during a late-night test run involving transitional metals, and perhaps even struck on a leftover foreign coin blank from a discontinued series, a theory given chilling credibility when one such 2000 cent was found with magnetic properties inconsistent with known U.S. cents, as if it had been born of an entirely different minting protocol, yet the public had no idea, not until one coin surfaced years later at a flea market in rural Ohio, spotted by a retired machinist with an eye for metallurgy who noticed a weight discrepancy so minor it would escape nearly anyone else's detection. But this minor flaw opened a Pandora's box of historical inquiries, government silence, and collector mayhem, because when sent for certification, the coin refused to fit known categories. It had the reverse of a 2000 cent, the obverse bore telltale signs of a misaligned die from 1999, and beneath microscopic inspection, experts saw doubling so sharp and irregular it defied known DDO patterns, leading some to believe it was struck not once, not twice, but 3 times in rapid succession, each strike offset and inflicted at a slightly different pressure and angle, an impossibility according to Mint officials, yet the coin was real, authenticated, and eventually auctioned under a cloud of controversy. With accusations flying, collectors weeping, and one anonymous bidder securing it for a staggering $4.7 million at the time, a price that would only seem modest in retrospect, for what followed was nothing short of numismatic hysteria, as collectors scoured rolls of 2000 cents in basements, banks, even forgotten vending machine trays, desperate to find a match, and yet none surfaced, none with the same combination of characteristics, anomalies, and physical oddities, reinforcing the theory that only one such coin ever existed, a true mint ghost, an accident of fate so precise and fleeting that even the Mint's internal investigation could not determine exactly when or how it was produced, despite FOIA requests, leaked emails, and whistleblower testimony suggesting a possible cover-up involving experimental die tests not meant for public release, and that perhaps even higher-ups in the Treasury ordered the destruction of similar coins before they could be discovered, with this lone survivor slipping into circulation during a chaotic batch recalibration, an act so small and forgettable at the time, yet now the subject of conspiracy documentaries, investigative journalism, and even a now-suppressed academic paper suggesting the coin was part of a top-secret alloy test that utilized a foreign compound meant for a now-abandoned space-grade currency initiative, all adding layers of mystique and panic-fueled treasure hunting, especially after another collector claimed to have found a second example only to be found dead under suspicious circumstances before he could submit it for grading, feeding wild theories of corporate sabotage, government interference, and a clandestine race to recover the remaining coins, if any, a race that has taken collectors across abandoned warehouses, closed down minting facilities, and even into private collections held by former Mint employees rumored to have smuggled out error coins decades ago, and all the while, the original coin's value soared as private sales pushed its worth to $10 million, then $15, until finally, a Hong Kong billionaire with a known obsession for one-of-a-kind relics secured it for $22 million in a private exchange involving armed couriers, untraceable currency, and non-disclosure agreements, leaving the numismatic community stunned, speechless, and ravenous to know if another 2000 cent could possibly be lurking somewhere, forgotten in a jar, hidden in a shoebox, or lost behind the cushions of an old family couch, because the magnitude of its value lies not just in its mystery, but in the impossibility of it all, the way a mistake became a masterpiece, how an oversight transformed into an icon, and how the line between ordinary and priceless was blurred forever by a single rogue cent born of chaos, sealed in secrecy, and immortalized in modern legend as the most valuable penny ever struck in U.S. history. So if you think a penny is just a penny, think again. Your next coin roll hunt could unlock a secret the government doesn't want you to know, a mistake so rare that owning it is like holding lightning in your hand, and if that possibility thrills you as much as it terrifies you, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because the hunt for the next impossible coin is only just beginning.